All right, we're back here again, and finally, it was kind of later today than I expected. Most time, from what I remember, the shortlists come out, kind of where I'm at, middle of the afternoon or late morning. But yeah, today they were late, like evening time for me when they finally came out. So we've got our list for 9 categories that we have the shortlists here for the Oscars. And for nine specific categories. Obviously, stuff like cinematography, editing, production design. Obviously, stuff like picture and the acting races, screenplay. All those, it's just going to be whatever's nominated. There's no real short list for those. So it's just like the doc categories, the international film category. Makeup and hairstyling is on here. The 2 song categories, or music categories, I should say. Visual effects is on here. The shorts are on here. So yeah, we'll kind of start with the just naming off everything that's on the lists here, and I'll briefly kind of say, okay, just from this, who do I think gets in, or who can we narrow it down to as possible nominees here. Anyway, so with that we'll start. I just have the Variety article popped up here. It's really nice because Clayton Davis, their writer over there, he kind of more or less put in the ones he expected to get in that didn't get in and stuff like that. So that's good. And anyways, and yeah, some of these, like the doc feature category, other than a couple we've mentioned, like Gotham's and the Indie Spirits that have been nominated, and a few other ones, we haven't really, there hasn't been a lot of talk, a lot of chatter about that. The international category, like only in the last week or two, we've finally seen some people finally talking about it a little bit. Pretty much once the Globe started getting stuff out, it's like, oh, now we expect these. It's like, okay, well, you could have said that a month ago and then totally, taken credit for it. But now it's like, yeah, whatever. Anyway, so we'll start with the doc feature category. That's the first one he's got listed here. 76 Days, All In, The Fight for Democracy, Boys State, Collective, Crip Camp, Dick Johnson is Dead, Gunda, MLK FBI, The Mole Agent, My Octopus Teacher, Noturno, The Painter and the Thief, Time, The Truffle Hunters, and Welcome to Chechnya. So quite a bit of lists here from Amazon, a few from Netflix. Actually, I think the most are from Netflix. And then I believe just one from HBO. But yeah, I think early on, a lot of talk about who's going to win this category. I don't know if there's necessarily a huge front runner, not that I've heard discussed, but it's like Crip Camp is one a lot of people talk about, Collective, Dick Johnson is Dead. MLK FBI maybe is the front runner right now from what I've heard about. Truffle Hunters, a lot of people like that one. Time got, it might have won at Gotham, but it was at least nominated. And then All In, The Fight for Democracy, I think. That one, it looks pretty safe in the song category to get nominated, but I don't know. I can see them waffling on that one and getting that one, and especially with the everything that happened on January 6th and it being an election year. If you got democracy in the title, I mean, they might go for it. What was they won a couple of years ago that had about democracy was in the title. That one got in. So yeah. So yes, that's like 8 or 9. So yeah, it feels like we've got a bit of competition here. Sometimes for these docs, it's like they'll get it down to like 6 or 7, where it's like, okay, these have legitimate chances, and then some years it's like it's a struggle to get to 5, and then yeah, it's kind of all over the place. But I don't know. It seems this year it seems like there's a good crop to choose from here. Again, if there's any one documentary I would probably see, it's not on here, but it would be the Bee Gees one that was just on HBO that got buzz for like a week or two, and then nobody talked about it since. I want to see that one because yeah, Bee Gees are like my favorite group of all time. So yeah, I'm excited to see that one eventually. But otherwise, yeah, MLK FBI, that's probably one I would see. That one has gotten so much good critical reception. The director has done a lot of interviews, and it just generally seems like it's stuff that was touched upon in Selma, the movie there by Ava DuVernay a few years ago. And some of that stuff I thought with the more personal side of MLK really was the most interesting part of the movie. I mean, all the stuff with him on the bridge, crossing the bridge, not crossing the bridge the first time and all that. It's like, that's good for dramatic material and stuff, sure. But I don't know, it wasn't as interesting, to me as like the stuff with like, okay, FBI is investigating him, they've wiretapped his house and everything, and everything they do there. It's like all that stuff, and then plus his infidelity and stuff, which I didn't really know about. You don't learn that in 2nd or 3rd grade every year when they do Black History Month, which my school always did, and I always got a kick out of watching the speech and stuff as much as they showed us. That is, I don't think they showed us the whole however long the speech is, like 8, 9, 10 minutes, whatever it was. Maybe it's longer than that, but yeah, I always got a kick out of that. I always think he's a very, very fascinating historical figure there. So that one I would see, definitely. All right, let's see. We'll move on to international feature. Let's see. So I think it's, again, 15 here. So we have Another Round from Denmark, Better Days from Hong Kong, Charlatan from the Czech Republic, Collective from Romania, Dear Comrades from Russia, I'm No Longer Here from Mexico, Hope from Norway, La Lorna from Guatemala, The Mole Agent from Chile, Night of the Kings from the Ivory Coast, Kova Dia Dia from Bosnia, Sun Children from Iran, Two of Us from France, A Son from Taiwan, and The Man Who Sold His Skin. That one is from Tunisia. So, generally speaking, I didn't talk about, were there any that Clayton thought would get in? None of these that I've heard about that, I don't know. I guess there was one about John Lewis. I think the congressman who just passed away this year, but yeah, that one wasn't on the list. But that's one he mentioned. Not as like an upset, but one he had discussed about anyways. For this one here, probably, again, none of the ones he listed here for ones that are missing are ones that I'd particularly heard of. But yeah, Another Round seems to be one. It's gotten in everywhere so far, I think, for like the televised stuff. So that one is probably in good shape. La Lorna's one that's been tossed around a lot. Night of the Kings, Kova Dia Dia. Two of Us. Okay, that's 5. But like, Collective is on the list for documentary feature. We've seen in recent years, we do see those cross over and get nominated in both categories. The one, Dear Comrades, I know that one's got some buzz behind it. Mole Agent, wasn't that up here? I feel like I already read that one. Yeah, that's another one that's nominated in doc feature as well. So 2 of them. Maybe, is there another one that I missed? No, I think just those 2. But yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I think it was just a few years ago the first time we saw them, one nominated in both. I believe they've, before they did Shortlists, they've had some that have been in contention for both. But yeah, so that one, it feels like maybe not quite as competitive as that doc feature category, but definitely some ones that'll have some heat to them here. Okay, next up he has Makeup and Hairstyling. This one we have 10, if I counted right. Yeah, it should be 10. So the first one, Birds of Prey, is in. Emma, The Glorias, Hillbilly Elegy, Jingle Jangle, A Christmas Journey, The Little Things, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Mank, One Night in Miami, and Pinocchio. So there's always a weird one here that I miss. So I'm just going to go ahead and say the one that I've never heard of, the one that doesn't sound like it belongs. Maybe not one that doesn't belong, but like the Pinocchio one I'd heard about at least. But The Glorias. It's like, okay, if it made the short list, I'm going to predict it to get in. There's always like the weird ones. There's the one, the old man who shat on a park bench and, fed the pigeons or whatever it was like a 20-word title. That one, got in. That one screwed me over years ago. There was one a couple years ago. I can't remember the title of it right now, but that one I didn't think had its shot, and it made it in for makeup. So, yeah. So that one I'm going to put in. Otherwise, Mank is on here. That one and Ma Rainey's were like my 2. And then with Hillbilly Elegy also, I would say. Those were probably the top 3, I would say. Yeah, those were the ones where it's like, okay, if any of those are missing, it's on the level of like a Rush or Lee Daniels' The Butler, or, one of those that is so obvious that they just completely skip it. Into the Woods is another one as well. Again, some of those they just totally miss. But yeah, those 4, I would say, yeah. So then it really comes down to, okay, I don't know. I haven't seen One Night in Miami yet, so I don't know if there's any, like, it's as far as I can tell, it's not a prosthetics, too much of that going on. But, yeah, I can see something, maybe Emma. I mean, I can see Emma getting the 2 design categories, and then maybe this. Birds of Prey, I mean, not spoiling anything, that's coming up it's also on the visual effects list, so they've seen that one. It didn't get anything at the Globes, which I thought early on had a shot for like Margot Robbie for actress comedy, and the film itself, maybe. I mean, they did go with Deadpool a few years ago, so they're not above getting some sillier superhero films in there. So, yeah, Shazam didn't get in last year, though, or anything, or last time, because that's almost 2 years ago. That one came out now. So, Birds of Prey would not surprise me. Of course, it is kind of the semi-sequel, I guess, to Suicide Squad. Oh, that one was so bad, I didn't bother with this one. But, yeah, so I obviously that one won. So, kind of in an upset there in 2016 for makeup. So, Yeah, it's gonna be close there. One thing though, the little things getting on here for this category, but not for the music score category. Oh no, it is on here. Sorry, maybe I read that one too fast. But okay, I thought I saw that it missed, but it hadn't. Let's see. Clayton believes that I think he has seen United States versus Billie Holiday. That one is not on here. The Prom did not make it. Promising Young Woman did not make it. Even though I think both of those, United States, Billie Holiday, and Promising Young Woman, both of those were on the BAFTA's long list for makeup, I believe. I can't remember. I don't think the Prom. Yeah, the Prom didn't get anything much over there. And then Trial of Chicago 7 is another one that's not on here. That one I knew was more of a long shot. Again, it would be more for like the actual like hairstyling part of the category, less about the actual like physical makeup and prosthetics and everything. So yeah, the fact that Little Things is on here as well as in the score category. I don't know if that particularly means like those particular categories it has a decent shot, but now that means okay, yeah, so the Jared Leto thing might come through because it's it's not one that they've completely looked past or anything. Obviously, it's a different branch when it comes to the actors, but and he's definitely on notice now after he got both the SAG and Globe nomination. But anyways, and I was kind of thinking about it. I didn't have time to look at it today, but I was kind of thinking, I'm like, well, we've seen examples of people get both and then miss. Obviously, there's some that go even further, like Jake Gyllenhaal for Nightcrawler, missed at the Oscars, even though he had literally everything else he could. Hong Chow a few years ago got both Globe and SAG, in a supporting category there, and she missed at the Oscars, and really after SAG missed everything. I thought there was one other example, but it's blanking on me now. But yeah, I think was Idris Elba in both Globe and SAG. I remember he won at SAG that year, but Idris Elba might be another one for Beasts of No Nation as one that pops up, and like I said, he even went on to win SAG. Yeah. Emily, there's other examples, like Emily Blunt, I remember a few years ago, yeah, she got in, and, one for A Quiet Place, but then she was also for Mary Poppins Returns. Obviously, that was in a different, with the comedy musical thing, but, yeah, so it's very possible for him to miss, but it's like the fact that Little Things did get this in the score category means, yeah, it's not totally done. Anyways, but, yeah, so yeah, that one, yeah, I think we got to 5 on that one. Okay, for score category, we have 15 here. These are Ammonite, Blizzard of Souls, Defy of Bloods, The Invisible Man, Jingle Jangle, A Christmas Journey, The Life Ahead, The Little Things, Mank, Midnight Sky, Minari, Mulan, News of the World, Soul, Tenet, and Trial of the Chicago 7. So once again, I don't really think too many here missed that were like huge potential here. The only one Clayton does list, Promising Young Woman, is also not on this one. So that overall, I don't think that had any. Not that a ton of these categories were expected to be in, like visual effects for that one. I don't think so, but yeah, the fact that it has nothing on here. A few people have thrown out the idea of that one being like Nocturnal Animals, where it does really well at the Globes, even managed to win there, and then totally disappears, and then comes back strong at BAFTA, and then only lands the one nomination at the Oscars. I don't think so. This one I think has a lot more genuine love behind it. Plus, Nocturnal Animals, even though it did have like director, screenplay, supporting actor at the Globes and stuff, it missed in the picture category, whereas Promising Young Woman got pretty much everything it could at the Globes with director, picture, screenplay, and actress. So, yeah, I think it's a little bit of a different story there. But anyways, for the score category here, a few of these, like the Blizzard of Souls I hadn't heard of before, the Jingle Jangle one, no. But yeah, I wasn't really considering Mulan much in the film in the music category here, but it's possible. I can see that one ranking up. It's not in for makeup here either. Early on, I had that one as a possibility, so that's probably the only spot otherwise where it could have gotten in on one of the shortlists today. But and it's on the visual effects list here. But yeah, we'll have to see here because right now I think Defy Blood stands a good shot. Midnight Sky should be a easy one. News of the World should be an easy one, and then I don't know, maybe not Defy Bloods then, because yeah, I think Tenet and Soul, they've both gotten in, or sorry, not Soul and Mank, sorry, because those are the same composers. Those have gotten in everywhere, so I think those two are solid, and I think the double nomination is coming for Reznor and Ross. Then News of the World should be a very safe bet here. Tenet got in at the Globes as well. So that one feels safe, and I believe it's also on Critics' Choice. So then it's that fifth slot. I can see him going Minari. I can see him going. Wait, did I? Oh no, wait, hang on. Let me try that again. Mank, Midnight Sky, Soul, News of the World, Tenet. Okay, that might be the 5 actually. Yeah, because then we have Trial of Chicago 7 is possible. I still think. I would say Minari is still possible. Little Things maybe. I mean, they have to know it's Thomas Newman. I don't think the name is on the ballot when they look at these, but to put him in for there. Da 5 Bloods, I think, is definitely possible. Terence Blanchard is more or less a surprise nominee when he got in for Black Klansman. So, and especially if Da 5 Bloods ends up performing a little better than we expected, like it did that morning, even though it did miss like John David Washington and stuff. That one could come in for score there. So, and then, generally speaking, there's a few good ones here, for sure. So, this might be a little bit more of a crowded category there. For the songs, we have, we'll go through these here. Turntables from All In, The Fight for Democracy. See What You've Done from Belly of the Beast. I don't know that one. Wuhan Flu is in from the Borat sequel, as is the Husavik from the Eurovision one. So, I can't remember. Is Will Ferrell an actual writer on the song? He could be looking at his first nomination. Because he was a producer on Vice, but I don't think he was. Maybe he was just exec producer or something. But that one I was like, as soon as a couple of years ago there. I was like, when I saw him listed there, I can't remember if he's like an above the line producer or if he's like just an exec. But I was like, as soon as I saw that, because I remember his name being in the credits there, I'm like, wow, is Will Ferrell actually going to get an Oscar nomination? For producing of all things. But it's like, well, Danny DeVito did, something similar there a few years ago for Aaron Brockovich and stuff. Obviously, he'd done, directorial stuff for with like Hoffa, and that got a few Oscar nominations and stuff. But let's see, where were we at here? Never Break from Giving Voice, Make It Work from Jingle Jangle: A Christmas Journey. So that one is on 3 lists. So, I mean, I think just to break off here again real quick, I remember Suspiria got onto a couple lists here 2 years ago. I think it was both the score and the song, and that didn't get in. And I personally enjoyed that movie a lot, but I haven't gone back to rewatch it. But that one, this one's on 3 lists. I mean, I would say watch out. Maybe they do really like that one, or maybe it shows up at nothing. I don't know. Fight for You from Judas and the Black Messiah. Again, I don't know if it's IOC or Low C. The one, I'll just use the translation. Scene from The Life Ahead. So Diane Warren's also looking at one here. Rain Song from Minari. Show Me Your Soul from Mr. Soul. I don't know that one. Loyal, Brave, True from Mulan. Free from The One and Only Ivan. Speak Now from One Night in Miami. Green from Sound of Metal. And Hear My Voice from Trial of Chicago 7. A lot of Best Picture candidates are here, or potential Best Picture candidates with stuff like Judas and the Black Messiah and Sound of Metal. So, we could see. I mean, sometimes these song categories do line up more that way than they do other years. Sometimes it's like 4 of them are only nominated in that category, or like 2 or 3 of them, and then the rest of them there's like one who's who happens to be a Best Picture nominee or something. But early on, I'd say again, look out for Speak Now for One Night in Miami should be a lock here. The one, the Diane Warren one, Scene from Life Ahead should be an easy one. Fight for You has come up everywhere so far for Judas and the Black Messiah. Turntables for All In, Fight for Democracy, I would say yes to, especially because again, not always, but especially in the last, recent, 10 years or so, last 10 years, almost every year we have a song from a documentary that gets in. So that one makes sense. And then, that 5th slot is going to be a little bit open, because I can see, Minari is possible. The Life of Pi had a song get in. Not to say those two are exactly alike, but it kind of, I don't know, just looking at the title and stuff, it kind of feels that way, because that one was just like a lullaby or something. If One and Only Ivan gets in for visual effects, which I'm starting to think is now more likely, they could go for that one. Mulan, is going to be on quite a few other ballots here, potentially for maybe for score, but then, more likely in production design, costume design, visual effects. So that one they might check off. And then maybe Sound of Metal or Trial of Chicago 7. So that one, I mean, 4, we should get to 4 pretty easy, but it's that 5th one is going to be hard to nail down there. Let's see here. I don't think Clayton didn't list too many. I think we talked about score there. No, he wasn't too impressed by anything that got left off on score. But He was. There's quite a few here though that he was a little shocked at for this category. We have. I guess there's maybe one or two songs from Onward. Nothing from Onward is on here. Nothing from Over the Moon. I know that one. All of a sudden, that song is getting some buzz here. I guess there was a song in Tenet, The Plan. I don't remember that one at all. That one's not on here. And then Tigress and Tweed, which actually got a Globe nomination and a Critics' Choice nomination, is not on here for United States versus Billie Holiday. So that one overall, missing out in which category? The makeup category as well. That one is really not looking too strong right now, at least from that perspective of the shortlist and stuff. Now, obviously, visual effects, it's not likely to be a contender there. Costume design, production design, though, I have it in still for costumes, but I can see that one, getting just the one there for one of those below-the-line categories there. I was going to check if there was any other ones from the Globes that missed. Let me see here. For original song, Juice and Black Messiah, Trial of Chicago 7, Life Ahead, One Night in Miami. Yeah, so just the one there. And then Critics' Choice. Can't remember if there was any on there. They didn't have a song category, did they? Oh, no, they did. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking of something else. It was like the sound category they didn't have. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, song, no, it's like... the one from The Outpost, that one I don't think is on here. But yeah, everything else from Critics' Choice made it on here. Again, except for the United States versus Billie Holiday one. Okay. Anything else there? But that one, it looks like there were maybe a few missing there. For visual effects, this is one where there were a couple, not quite jaw droppers, but this is where the most surprises I think came in. So the 10 that they're going to pick from here are Birds of Prey, Bloodshot, the Vin Diesel one. Love and Monsters, don't know that one. Mank, Midnight Sky, Mulan, The One and Only Ivan, Soul, Tenet, and Welcome to Chechnya. So the one Soul also got in for the long list at BAFTA for visual effects. So I'm thinking, okay, that's kind of weird because again, the only other example I can think of where primarily animated feature gets in for visual effects as well is that Kubo and the Two Strings. That got in, but that was kind of a weaker year, I think, for visual effects. But Greyhound is not on this list. Invisible Man, which a lot of people thought, especially after the Critics' Choice nomination, and was it? I don't think it was on the BAFTA list. I can't remember now. But that one looked like it was possibly looking at a nomination there. That one's off the list. I think there was Defy Bloods is not on here. That one I knew was a little bit more of a long shot, but I was like. I don't know. I still had a feeling it could pop up. Let's see here. Was there anything else, actually, from any of these that I was like shocked at that didn't make the list? Pieces of a Woman, by the way, for score. Originally, I was thinking that one had a shot, but yeah, that's not on here. And then the one Wear Your Crown from the Prom was not there. The one from Trolls is not there either, I don't think. But that one has kind of been disappointing lately. Or was it? Yeah, it's not on there. That's right. No. Let's see here for makeup. Yeah, we went over that one already. But I think the only other one, Cherry, some people thought might have a chance for makeup. Those who have seen it already, but no. But at least in the visual effects here, like Tenet got in and stuff like that. It's like that was one that would have been a total jaw dropper. That would have been like again your lead contender, not even making the short list. Wonder Woman is not on here either. News of the World is not on here. So, no Tom Hanks movies in visual effects. I had two predicted. So then, Mank making the list, even though it's like maybe two shots have visual effects in it, from what I can tell, that are very obvious effects. I mean, there's probably some work done for backgrounds and stuff, I'm sure. But again, that's a lot of movies these days that we don't even think about. But, so that messes up this category big time. Tenet is still a big bet. Midnight Sky should be an easy one now. One and Only Ivan, I can see that one making it now, for sure. Mulan is probably still a good bet. Did I already name that one? Yeah, I already did. So that's just 4. And then that 5th slot, it's like I can see Mank. That one is probably the only Best Picture nominee on here because I don't see Soul going all the way for picture now. Tenet, no, not likely to be a Best Picture nominee. Mulan, I don't think so. Midnight Sky, some people talk about it early, but now, all the buzz for above the line stuff is gone. So I think, yeah, I mean, we saw The Irishman in 1917, and was there one other one last year? But at least those two last year get in for visual effects. So, yeah, more likely lately they've been tending toward getting at least one or two of the Best Picture nominees. I remember 2015, we had, it was like Ex Machina and maybe one other one were the only ones not in for Best Picture. It was like Revenant, Mad Max, Martian, Ex Machina, what was the fifth one? Yeah, whichever one, but it was like, of those, it was like Ex Machina was like the only one, and then maybe that fifth one were all, everything else was a Best Picture nominee that year. So, yeah. The Birds of Prey one is possible here for sure, I would say, as well. And then, yeah, Soul, maybe. So, yeah, we got it down to probably about 7 there. So, yeah, that's what I've got for now for those. Okay, then the rest of these are the shorts. And, yeah, these there's not really been a ton of buzz around these, so we'll just kind of go here. Animated short film is Burrow, Genius Loci, If Anything Happens, I Love You, Kapamahu, something close to that, Opera, Out, The Snail and the Whale, to Gerard, it's like a toast or something, Traces, and Yes, People. Yeah, I think sometimes you just got to go with what's the cutest sounding title or the shortest title in this category. So like, Opera, that sounds like one. If Anything Happens, I Love You. That sounds like a genuinely moving subject. Whatever it's about, maybe it's about slavery or something. I have no freaking clue. That one I would say, yeah. Yes, People. That sounds interesting. To Gerard, I'll put in there, and I don't know, maybe that Kapamehu. I haven't heard any buzz about any of these, so I'll just pick. I picked 5 there. Obviously, I'll get in. I'll look up a few other what people are saying after these are out here. Okay, for Doc Short, we have Abortion Helpline, This is Lisa. Which, again, I'm sure that's, Abortion Helpline, This is Lisa. One of those. Another one, Call Center Blues. A lot of stuff like that. Colette, A Concerto is a Conversation. Do Not Split. Hunger Ward, Hysterical Girl. Man, seems like a lot of female subject matters here, possibly. A Love Song for Latasha, another one. The Speed Cubers, and What Would Sophia Loren Do? Again, a lot of female features, it seems here. Okay, yeah, anything, yeah, hot topic, like abortion, yeah, that's almost, not almost always, but like almost, from the title at least, that's a one you can maybe bet on. Maybe not to win, but at least be nominated. Hunger Ward sounds interesting. Hysterical Girl, maybe just for the title. Sophia Loren is an Oscar winner, so maybe. Speed Cubers sounds interesting, though. So, yeah, some of these do sound, I mean, obviously, I'm sure all these are great subject matters, but, maybe Call Center Blues. I've worked in a lot of call centers myself, so I know those are, the heart goes out to those people. Anyways, then the last one here would be a live action short, and these are Bitu, Dai, it's D-A, next word Y-I-E, Dai, something like that. Feeling Through, The Human Voice, The Kick Sled Choir, something like that. The Letter Room, The Present, Two Distant Strangers, The Van, and White Eye. Again, I've heard nobody talk about any of these this year. The Present, yep, that sounds like a good short title. Feeling Through, Human Voice, those sound nice. The Van, yeah, that one sounds interesting. And then, I don't know. Maybe, did we say, yeah, we said Human Voice already. Maybe the Kick Sled Choir, I don't know. If it's like a choir as in like children's choir, again, children are a good subject matter that seems to almost always get in for the short categories too. And that's across all of them, really. What was the one, Skin or whatever, a couple years ago, that had also to do with children and stuff, and that one won. I remember I had it predicted, then I moved it out like just before, and I missed it. But that one, or it was a very similar one, but yeah. Anyway, so that's it for that. So that's everything with the short lists there. So that's the first part here. Now, with Critics' Choice, SAG, and Globes having all their nominations out, let's go quickly through as quickly as we can here. We've already talked about a few things back and forth here through the past few videos here, but we'll just kind of go down. What do I have in right now for Oscars? What has changed? Has anything bumped up or down? Stuff like that. Okay, so I'm not sure where to go right now for Best Picture now, because One Night in Miami has been my film since the beginning there, and now it's missed that Golden Globe picture nomination for drama. which, again, we talked about this on the other video here, but it's like you have to go, obviously Parasite is an example last year. That wasn't technically there, but it was in the foreign language category, and it wasn't qualifying for picture drama, so that's why. We mentioned Chariots of Fire as one that was only up for foreign film, and it didn't qualify for picture drama. The other two are Crash and The Sting, so it's like very, very rare that they have your Best Picture winner not even nominated for the top categories there at the Globes. So, yeah, that becomes a very, very tough hill to climb for One Night in Miami. And I'm thinking now, and it's weird. We'll get to it with director, but I can actually now see a scenario where Regina King misses director. It's possible. It's possible. We'll talk about it more when we get to director. But I still have her in, but I'm like, I think she's that fifth slot. I think she's one that can fall out. Anyway, so just for now, just as a placeholder, I'll continue to put it there. But I think Nomadland and Trial of the Chicago 7, I have that one 2 and 3. But I'm really considering, I'm thinking maybe Trial of the Chicago 7 is one that'll come through. And even though it was one of the earliest ones out, other than the stuff that premiered during the spring there, and really, it's just maybe stuff that was at Sundance among these films, but just any general release. That's been one of the earliest ones in the Oscar race this year, and it's stuck around. Defy Bloods was out before it too. That's true, but and technically, Promising Young Woman did screen a lot before it was supposed to come out. I believe in April or March there, but obviously got bumped to December. But that has been one, that was early, and I thought, a few weeks ago, even a little over a month ago, I was like, man, that one might struggle because it was out too early, or really, really early. But no, it seems to have really stuck the landing everywhere. It didn't. I mean, other than possibly getting another spot at for supporting actor at SAG, it got the two categories we knew it would: one for supporting actor and ensemble, and it also got the stunt ensemble, so it kind of made up for that. It got, the 5 nominations there at the Globes, and really the only other place it could have landed was score. Otherwise, again, unless they do another supporting actor, but it doesn't seem likely at this rate. So, again, didn't underperform there, and arguably getting the song overperformed from some estimates. And Critics' Choice, it did very well. I mean, again, not way too many places it really could have gotten in at Critics' Choice, except for maybe a couple of those tech categories where it missed. Like, it might have gotten in for, like, cinematography or stuff, but it missed there. But, yeah, generally speaking, I feel like editing is probably the one slot it can get into, like, definitely. Otherwise, it's going to struggle, in cinematography. It's going to struggle in the design categories. It probably will struggle in the score category, though it did make the short list, so that's a good sign. And it's also in for the song as well on the short list. So it could get at least one nomination from those two, but generally speaking, I'm looking at film editing as the only other one, which for the statisticians out there, that's the important one you need. Obviously, there was Birdman and I think, just Birdman, right? Just Birdman's been the only one that's won without film editing recently. Because like everything else, Moonlight had editing, Shape of Water was nominated for editing, Green Book was nominated for editing, and that was kind of a surprise there. And Parasite was in for editing last year as a nominee. So, yeah. So then now Mank has led both Globes and Critics' Choice, so I put that one back up to 4th. But again, I don't really see it winning any Oscars right now. It'll get all those boatload of nominations, possibly up to 12. But yeah, I don't really see it at 12 or 13 maybe. I'll have to recheck the count here after I'm done. Not during the video here, but after I'm done here. And Minari I have in 5th place with the SAG Ensemble nomination and the 2 acting nominations that really made up for the missing the stuff at the Globes that I thought I had a shot at. And even though it's not up, it's going to be up for Best Film at BAFTA. Still making a couple of the shortlists here today is a really good sign that it's still on track. So that one I have in 5th place. Ma Rainey's I have down in 6th. The Father I have in 7th. Really, again, the only place that it's missing so far is Critics' Choice for film. Otherwise, it seems to do really well on the BAFTA long list and stuff, and I expect it's going to do maybe even better over there than it will over here. The Five Bloods I have in 8th place, News of the World in 9th, and that 10th slot I have Promising Young Woman. So I'm like, I don't know, and I feel maybe I might bump that one up here, but that one I feel like it's, I don't know, it's like, because it's like, those top 5 I think are definite. Ma Rainey's feels very safe. The Father feels pretty safe. So it's like, those are the 7. Then if they go 8 and they dump a couple, it's like, okay, the 8th one probably would be Promising Young Woman. Because again, if this was a regular 5 Best Picture nominees, I think Defy Bloods and Spike Lee's direction is a classic case of getting director but not getting picture. If it was just a five picture field there. But yeah, I can see News of the World and Defy Bloods dropping out here. So yeah, it's possible. But so they could land on just 8. But correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the last year for the sliding scale. Starting next year, they go to all just a straight 10. I'm not a big fan of that, by the way. It's much easier to get them perfect here because you can get up to 10 that you can put in there. So as long as you have as long as you have them in there, you get a couple strikes that you can that don't count against you if you have them included. Anyways, but let's see here. So those are the 10 that I have, up to 10 that I have getting in. But again, mathematically, all these films would have to break down to like an even 10% for all 10 of them to get in, and that's probably not going to happen for their number one votes and stuff. So, that being said, what else is in contention here? I think, generally speaking, yeah, it's down to about a field of 15 to 20 possibles here. So about, maybe 5 to 10 more that we can see getting in. Judas and the Black Messiah is about ready to open. So that one, I don't know, it didn't get like a SAG Ensemble nomination. It wasn't in for Picture Drama. It didn't even get a Best Picture nomination there at the Globes. And I can't remember right now. Was that on the BAFTA long list for film? I know I got a few of those categories, but I can't remember if it was in for film. Let's see, I can pull up the list here real quick. All right, while that's loading up, I'm going to get a second screen open so I can go back to my predictions here. Yeah, Judas the Black Messiah is not on the list for film for BAFTA. And I don't believe it's a possible one for British film either. Yeah, okay, I can't remember. But I don't think it had a British producer on it or anything like that. So, yeah, I don't think that one. So, yeah, that one, other than maybe Daniel Kaluuya and maybe a couple others, that one's probably not going to score too well at BAFTA either. So, yeah, generally speaking, I don't think there's really a ton of buzz behind it. It would have to be, again, in a normal year, if we had a huge box office surge at the last minute, that might really help it. But we're, I don't, Little Things opened to like 4 million a couple weeks ago. So it's like, I don't think we're going to see, even though it is Black History Month, and we're getting, I keep track daily of the new vaccinations and stuff, and it's like, yeah, we're doing pretty well, I think, generally speaking, with that. But we're not, it's obviously not by Friday. We're not going to see, I'm exaggerating here, millions of theaters opening across the states here where they're not open already. So, anyways, yeah, that might have helped it. But yeah, any good buzz it gets from whatever box office it pulls in, I'm sure it's going to be number one at the weekend here. But that'll help it. But yeah, again, it really would have helped if it gotten like a $40 or $50 million opening weekend here. But then again, obviously, in a normal year, it wouldn't have qualified. This would have been going for next year's Oscars if it was this particular weekend. They probably would have thrown it in the shuffle there in December or something. But yeah. So what else here? Sound of Metal was a Best Picture nominee at Critics' Choice, but otherwise, kind of a disappointment at the Globes since it didn't get Paul Raci. Also, Paul Raci missing there from the SAG list. So yeah, that one. It's possible still, but I don't know. It's like it doesn't quite seem to have that whiplash kind of effect there, where it's like J.K. was the early bet. It was the only bet early on, but after more people saw it, they're like, oh, what about picture? What about screenplay? What about possibly lead actor, and then possibly a few other categories like editing and sound and stuff and all that. But yeah, generally, otherwise, sound is like the only other one that seems to be a big major bet. Otherwise, screenplay it's in the mix for, but I don't have it in. Supporting actor, I think I still have Paul Raci in right now, but I think he's, again, that 4th or 5th slot. Riz Ahmed, I think, is pretty solid now for Best Actor. He hasn't missed anywhere, and he's on the list for BAFTA. So, yeah, it's like that, sound, and then, yeah, I don't know. The rest of them, including supporting actor, are kind of up in the air. Soul is one, I've had that one kind of in and out of that 10th slot here recently until Promising Young Woman did very well at the Globes there. So, that one, again, it's possible. Getting the score nomination is going to help it, obviously, animated feature. And then it's really up to, if it can get a visual effects and then a sound nomination or something, then okay, that might really boost it. But then again, we saw, Inside Out get the screenplay nomination and get No, just the one. Okay, then it got animated, yeah. And even that couldn't help but get to Best Picture a few years ago there. Then we had United States versus Billie Holiday, I feel like is really taking a hit lately here. I didn't always think it had like high prospects, but I was like, if it comes out late and it's actually like a one of Lee Daniels' like best films, watch out. That one can land in quite a few categories. Not just Best Actress, but like Picture, possibly Director, possibly Screenplay. What about the and then from the text it can get probably another 6 to get up to 6, 7, 8 nominations there. But yeah, I mean it's on. I don't think it's on any of the shortlists here today that we saw, which doesn't help. And Andra Day, I mean, she got in at Globes and at Critics' Choice, but she didn't get in at SAG, and she's not on the shortlist for BAFTA, so that really doesn't help. Yeah, so that one is going to be kind of a big question mark if it's just going to be below the line, or if it does surprise and get somewhat more or less surprise and get Andra Day in there. Because I think, I mean, she's definitely still in contention. But again, what I've been thinking would really hurt her seems so far to not be a huge problem, with her kind of playing not the exact same role, but very similar role to Viola Davis for Ma Rainey's. Otherwise, I'm actually I started watching Malcolm and Marie. I'm about 45 minutes in. I'm enjoying it so far. I like these little intimate films like this where it's just the one setting. This one happens to be black and white, which looks gorgeous in this movie. It looks absolutely great. And so far, I am really thoroughly enjoying this movie. Real quick, just from what I've seen here, how is John David Washington not in the conversation at all? Like, how is he not one of the 8 nominees at Critics' Choice? He is outstanding in this. Outstanding. And yeah, from what I've seen, Zendaya is bringing it in for her role there. The only thing, maybe it's just me, but like, and it's a problem I've had with other films, but it's like the age difference really seems apparent here. Now, obviously, Zendaya is, 25, 26, somewhere in that range. And John David is like probably 10, 12, 11, 12 years older than that. But just her voice almost does make her sound like she's like 18, 19 years old. And it's like that. And, not to say John David Washington looks like he's 38, 39, whatever, but like you can tell the age difference there just if you were listening to it. And when you look at it, it looks bad. I mean, not to say again, she looks young, but she doesn't look young. But yeah, it does, it kind of gives me some weird vibes there a little bit, but like, again, that's really not a huge complaint for me though. It's not making me uncomfortable or anything, but it's like, it's just something I noticed there. But yeah, as far as the subject matter, I mean, just, part of me, just reading some of these critic reviews sometimes where it's like, I 100% agree with Malcolm in the movie where he's like, just because I'm directing something and I'm black doesn't mean everything I say is a political statement for, people of color. And so I'm like, thank you. Oh, I think that's wonderful to have that perspective there. Because it's like, again, some of the stuff I read on Twitter or statements from politicians, it's like, oh my God, you are such a faker. But it's like, here it's like finally somebody says it. I'm like, good, just to get that perspective, have a different perspective in there for once. And again, yeah, and that's just generally speaking. I was kind of talking about this with somebody the other day. I'm like, it's fine if you're Spike Lee. I think it's perfectly fine to have both. Have a balance here. To have somebody like a Spike Lee who arguably every film he does has a political supercharge behind it. And then you have other people, other directors out there who just happen to be not white and sometimes not male, and they just happen to like directing movies, and not everything they do depends on their gender, their race, and all that. They don't want their material read into, and I think again that's perfectly fine. And it's like there's one quote here, it's like, even I should start doing this, but it's like there's a part there he's like, nobody's calling me William Wyler. I'm like, that is an outstanding point. I'm like, and it's like literally, yeah, it's like a lot of journalists today, it's like, especially when they get into stuff, it's like, whenever we have like a Shaka King right now is getting a lot of buzz here. It's like everybody calls it the new Spike Lee and stuff. It's like, well, can't he just be the new and then name a good director? Why does it have to be a black director you're comparing him to? Doesn't narrow. And again, that's that's their prerogative, but whatever. But it's like I enjoy that, just having that different perspective where it's like this guy just wants to be a good filmmaker. He doesn't care if he gets compared to Spike Lee or he named name checked a couple other ones in there, but yeah, generally you get the point. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that perspective, and just the general storyline. It's quiet, it's small, intimate, and stuff. I don't know if it's going to be, because funny enough this year, and I wonder if maybe the same thing happened with Sam Levinson and the other, because I know John David and Zendaya are also producers on this. I wonder if maybe me and them had a similar thing go on, because like maybe a few weeks into the when COVID started and the hardcore kind of quarantine stuff started, one of the films I went out and I bought and I wanted to watch again, I couldn't find anywhere, was Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which is very small, one setting, based on a play. This is original material, but based on a play, black and white, just the characters in the room going back and forth. And it's like, I mean, even though it's, can remind you of the times because, everybody else is confined in small spaces and stuff. But it's like, man, I mean, I went back and it's like, I don't know if this is going to be on the same, in the same class as something like Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, which again, I've named that, and 12 Angry Men is like the best examples of that small, intimate space and stuff, films like that. At least those are the ones that come to mind. But yeah, and both of those I've been rewatching a little bit this year. But yeah, this one, yeah, it seems like it's really going to turn into something good. And again, I'm roughly halfway into it, but yeah, so far it's really good. I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, let's see what else here possible for picture. I mean, really, the only other one that I'll throw out there, it did get 2 nominations at SAG, is Hillbilly Elegy. But again, it didn't. Other than Glenn Close, it got nothing at the Globes, which not to say we were expecting it. It's on the long list there for score for BAFTA, but it didn't. Hans Zimmer's score did not get on here for Hillbilly Elegy for at the Oscars, so that's good. I'm not a fan of that score, but yeah, and then it did get Glenn and the makeup in for Critics' Choice. And again, really, those are the only 2 I'm really expecting at this point. But yeah. Anyways, yeah, that generally seems like. So let's see. Let's count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it's 16. Yeah, feels. I mean, anything else I think at this point really needs to make a hardcore comeback if it's going to be back in the discussion. Anything else we haven't mentioned yet? Okay, for the director race, my 5 right now, Chloe Zhao I have out front now. David Fincher for Mank I have also getting in. Aaron Sorkin, I had him out for a while. I threw him back in for Trial of Chicago 7. I still have Spike Lee in there for Da 5 Bloods, even though he just has Critics' Choice so far. And I am keeping Regina King in there for One Night in Miami. So I've really bounced around here because there's 2 directors I can totally see making the list now, obviously. And that's Lee Isaac Chung for Minari and Emerald Fennell for Promising Young Woman. And those were the 7, I believe just 7 that got in at Critics' Choice. So, yeah, that, so obviously, yeah, Paul Greengrass feels like that one's kind of in the wind right now. Again, it can still come back, but it's like he didn't even get in for Captain Phillips, which I think at this point in the race that year, that one felt like it was more in the conversation, arguably for like picture and stuff. And then Shaka King is one possible, but again, I think if that one is really going to happen, I think we're going to have to really see a big upspring here coming. Then Florian Zeller for The Father. I've seen a lot of people think he's going to get a BAFTA nomination. I'm not so sure about that. It's possible with 6 slots, but I don't know. Yeah, otherwise, yeah, it seems like even, like George C. Wolfe, that one feels like it's relatively done. Christopher Nolan, he's on the long list for BAFTA, but I don't expect him to turn around and also get an Oscar if he happens to get a BAFTA nomination. And then, yeah, Lee Daniels for Billie Holiday kind of feels done. Okay, so the Regina King thing kind of dawned on me. Remember, obviously, many, many years ago now, 9, when we had Argo. And I remember that morning, I think I've told this before, but it's worth repeating. That morning, I was more shocked that Catherine Bigelow missed than I was Ben Affleck. Because Ben Affleck, you can see the argument where it's like, oh, it's the Hollywood star, and he's just turned director. And it's like, yeah, we did that before with, like, the First Timers with, like, Mel Gibson and Kevin Costner and stuff. But it's like, I don't know, yeah. So they skipped over that one. But again, I was way more shocked Catherine Bigelow didn't get on there that morning. But it's like, Ben Affleck is an example. Then, let's not forget, a couple of years ago now, what about Star is Born? Bradley Cooper. We all had Bradley Cooper from, a lot of people had him really, really early on and, held him all the way through the season. And he got in just about everywhere he could. Got the DGA nomination and stuff. He ended up losing the First Time Director Award in a huge upset to Bo Burnham. But, yeah, that's another Hollywood star that missed. What if Regina King is another Hollywood star that misses? It's possible. And so I did take her out for a while there, and I put in Emerald Fennell instead. Again, just kind of going off the idea that I had that ESP feeling when I was watching the movie, and it was like I was like, wow, this is really standing out to me directorially and stuff. I thought I had a text or something. So I was like, yeah, maybe I should put that in for director, And yeah, I mean, she's on the long list for BAFTA. I can see her getting in, yeah. She's in a Critics' Choice in the Globes. So, yeah. Anyways, but then I thought about it. Then I'm like, well, after, right before Bradley Cooper, though, don't forget, both Jordan Peele and Greta Gerwig got in the director's race for their first-time efforts that year for Get Out and for Lady Bird. So I'm like, yeah, I thought about it. I'm like, especially, if it's a more... if it's a woman or a minority director, it's like they might stand a better chance. So yeah, so for now, yeah, I'm keeping Regina King in. But again, I think she's that fifth slot. Spike Lee, I think, is also vulnerable here. I think really Fincher and Zhao are 100% safe. Either one of those missing is that Catherine Bigelow, Ben Affleck level snub. Aaron Sorkin, it feels safe. Because he's really, again, I don't see him missing too many places going forward. So it's really, he's really one that it would have to be, I can't even think of another example there. Paul Greengrass, actually, he did get quite a few nominations for Captain Phillips, I remember, for director that year. But and then he ended up missing at the Oscars. And he got in a DGA, too, I believe. So it would have to be one of those scenarios. But again, especially if Trial Chicago 7 does become more of a front-runner for Best Picture now, yeah, that one, it feels safe. So yeah, it's really down to if Spike Lee or Regina King fall out, or both of them fall out in favor of Emerald Fennell and Lee Isaac Chung. So yeah, it's definitely definitely a question mark there. But not to say it's just those seven, but I feel like anybody else is going to be like a Ben Zeitlin or a Mikhail Haneke getting in, kind of one of those levels where it's like it'd have to be that competitive a field. But yeah, I don't know. So yeah, there's still some mystery left in that director race, and it feels like as we've gone through, it's starting to get a little more crowded every time. All right, for Best Actor, Chadwick Boseman I still have out front here for Ma Rainey's, then Anthony Hopkins, Gary Oldman, Riz Ahmed. I still have Delroy Lindo in. Now, let's kind of address the potential elephant that's in Hollywood right now, if we will, if we want to turn that expression. I promised I was going to talk about this earlier, but now I'm like, okay, I kind of forgot about it when we were shooting the last video there. So now it's like, okay, yeah, let's definitely talk about it. It's a theory that's going around, and it might hold water, but I'm not 100% buying it. And that is, if kind of a mini spoiler if you haven't seen Da 5 Bloods, but Delroy Lindo's character, in the movie is kind of off his rocker, and he is he's openly a Trump supporter in the movie. Almost the whole time in the movie, he has the MAGA hat on and stuff. So a lot of people have been wondering, are they completely leaving him out because he supports Donald Trump in the movie and they don't want to see that represented at the Oscars? It's possible. I wouldn't say it's 100%, but I feel like Joe Rogan. It's possible. It's entirely possible. But I always feel like I'm saying that, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. It's like, it's a common expression, but I mean, it's like, it's a scenario I can see playing out, and the 5 Bloods did very well at SAG. It got the stunt ensemble, it got Chadwick in, it got the whole ensemble in, but again, it missed Delroy. And it felt like that was a really weird oversight on their part to go, and again, maybe they just liked Stephen Yeun for Minari better. Maybe they did. But I don't know. It just felt weird because the rest of the movie they liked. And Minari ended up getting also a ensemble nomination. So he's included in the cast there. So it's, they've done that a lot before. I mean, the whole ensemble, other than Jennifer Lawrence for American Hustle, the whole ensemble except for Rachel McAdams for Spotlight and stuff. They're not afraid to do that. But and arguably those years, it's like a lot of those, like Bradley Cooper, maybe not so much, but like Amy Adams and a few of the other ones there, they were really expected to get in for those SAG categories. Again, Christian Bale arguably as well, but yeah, it's like, yeah, they were close, and definitely the Spotlight guys, Michael Keaton and Mark Ruffalo. I mean, a lot of people had them getting 2 slots at SAG that year. I think I did too, or at least one of them. But yeah, I mean, they're not afraid to overstep somebody that they think is an obvious bet just to put somebody else in. So, it really, nothing is really adding up there for the SAG thing. And for the Globe thing, really the big takeaway I get from that is it just wasn't their movie. And as I talked about, in my predictions videos and stuff for Globes, I didn't really think it was going to do all that outstanding. I didn't have it in for picture. I didn't have it in for director. I didn't have anything else, I think, except actor and score, I think, were like the only two I had it in for. I didn't think screenplay either, which a lot of people, I guess, were, again, really up in arms about and stuff. But it's like, I don't know, it just wasn't their movie. So, and, it goes without saying, too, remember, and we just talked about it there, but Spike Lee is a very politically charged director. I mean, not to say every last thing he does in his movie is politically charged, but like almost every one of his movies has some political appearance or opinion behind it when he gets behind the camera there. So, and I remember I was kind of watching the movie, and I kind of thought about him like, is he saying that every black person that's a Trump supporter is crazy like this guy? Maybe, and if that is, I don't know if that's his intention or not. I haven't read up about it, but it's like, maybe if that's what the voters got out of it, maybe that does fuel into that idea a little bit. Not just plain that there's representation there for somebody who's on the other side of the aisle than almost everybody else in Hollywood. At least that's open about it that we know of. But maybe it is more just they're turned off by the idea of that, because it's like, I don't know. Again, I don't get into politics except when I absolutely have to. But it's like, just generally speaking, it's like anybody can do anything they want politically. It's like if you're a minority of some kind or other, you're Hispanic, you're black, you're fit into the LGBTQ community. Not fit in, I don't know, I just said that as an expression, but you identify as LGBTQ, and you're a Trump supporter, you're an individual, you can do whatever the hell you want. I'm not going to, call you a bigot or a, what's the phrase they use? Like if you're a black person that's for Trump, there's like a very terrible phrase. I can't even remember what it is, but it's like something awful. It's like, I don't go around policing people like that. That's ridiculous. We're individuals, for Christ's sake. So, anyway, we'll kind of step back from that. But otherwise, I mean, obviously, I don't think anybody in Hollywood is really, looking to say, let's be inclusive to Trump people right now. Because especially, I mean, after the January 6th thing, it's like, I don't know, that might have had something to do with it and stuff, but I don't know. I mean, it's a theory. It could be a kind of a bigger play there, but it's like, I don't know. For now, I think, and one thing too, though, that's helping Delroy possibly get the nomination, I think too, is after the Globes thing, I'm sure there were some Oscar voters out there that read some think pieces and stuff that said, why is The Five Bloods not nominated for anything? They were probably like, what's that? Oh, let me watch that one. Maybe it is worth, let me see what they're arguing for. So they might pop it in and watch it if they haven't already. Remember, it was out relatively early in June, and I think I was really late to the game. I didn't see it till like November, December, and stuff. So it's like, I'm sure there were plenty of Oscar voters that were like me that didn't see it until later. Didn't see it until they, got the heads up from Netflix or whatever, or a screener if they actually gave them an actual screener. So, so that really might help Delroy's case there. It's definitely an avenue he can take there. So that being said, it's like Stephen Yeun did get the not only Critics' Choice but also the SAG nomination. So I think he's definitely more in play now than he was before. Not to say he wasn't in play, but like he's more top of mind now, I think, for the one that's going to get in. I did drop John David Washington because he's missed everywhere. He's not on the list for he is on the list for BAFTA, excuse me, but otherwise he's not going to have any other place where he can score between now and then. And again, I'm really, really liking his performance right now. But I haven't seen Sound of Metal. I haven't seen The Father yet. So I'm sure those are two great performances. But it's like, it might be, and maybe not competition-wise, but definitely, there's going to be some nominations that get turned away here that are definitely good performances. Otherwise, we've kind of talked about a little bit, like Kingsley Ben-Adir. That one feels relatively done. Tahar Rahim, he's got the Globe nomination, but I don't know. Martanian's going to have to do, a little better Oscar morning than we're thinking, I think, to get that one in. He's on the list for BAFTA. I can see him actually getting one of the 6 slots, but we'll see. And then Tom Hanks and Ben Affleck kind of came back from Oscar hospice with the Critics' Choice nominations, but I don't really see them going too far here. All right, so that's that one. Let's see, for Best Actress, the 5 I have getting in, for now I just have Vanessa Kirby out front just because I like the movie so much, but I think Carrie Mulligan is really coming on strong here, and I definitely see, as we've talked about, she has a definite avenue now to the Oscar win. because not only can she win at the Globes, where Promising Young Woman has an advantage over Viola Davis and Ma Rainey's, because Ma Rainey's not up for drama, so she can, find an avenue there. But then she's British, so BAFTA can definitely go for her. And SAG, some people, including me, at the last minute threw in Promising Young Woman as an ensemble nominee. Some people had it earlier, that's true. But yeah, the fact that it wasn't up for ensemble kind of hurts her a little bit there, so I do think somebody like a Viola can win at SAG. But yeah, Carrie Mulligan definitely has an Oscar path now. And I still think there is an idea, though, that Viola and Frances might cancel each other out because they have won before. So that could leave up, again, somebody like a Carrie Mulligan or a Vanessa Kirby to win. Let's see. The other thing, Carrie Mulligan, I don't think we can quite put her into that like ingenue category. She's 35. She'll still be 35. She won't quite be 36 yet when the Oscars roll around. But she's not quite like Vanessa Kirby or Zendaya when they're in their early to mid 20s. Like we've seen Emma Stone and Jennifer Lawrence and there's one of their Brie Larson and a few of those in the last decade here really get the win there. So I don't know. It's like So and then the ingenue thing. Obviously Zendaya, if she does get in, and Vanessa Kirby might they might be the ones that kind of cross each other out. So so again, my 5 right now are Vanessa Kirby, Carrie Mulligan, Viola Davis, Frances McDormand, Zendaya. Andre Day again definitely it still has a shot here, but it doesn't really help that much when your film is kind of not, the rest of the different crafts groups there, none of them are really in love with the movie so far. And it's not really looking like it's going to do exceptionally well at BAFTA. Really below the line stuff only there. Sophia Loren really feels hurt right now. Her movie is not going to be up for international film. A Song might be the only one that one gets into. Amy Adams does have the SAG nomination for Hillbilly Elegy, but again, unless that one somehow comes back and gets a screenplay nomination on top of Glenn Close and the makeup or something, it could. I can see that one making the list. But again, Amy didn't get in for Arrival, and that one was obviously miles ahead in the Best Picture if we compare the two in the Best Picture race at this point. So I don't know. Then you have, Kate Winslet, who I think will have a stronger shot at BAFTA, otherwise has completely vanished from this race. Michelle Pfeiffer feels gone. Sidney Flanigan is one of the Critics' Choice nominees, but again, I don't really see her going too far. So we might be down to a 6-person race here, just between Andre Day and the other 5. I feel like that's kind of where we're at for that. Okay, supporting actor, definitely still the most fluid race here. And this one, again, I think there's 3 people that are almost certain to get in. That's Leslie Odom Jr., Sacha Baron Cohen, and Daniel Kaluuya. They've not missed anywhere. All feel very, very fortified here. It's really those last 2 slots. And right now, I did take out Paul Raci. I don't have him in. Instead, I have Bill Murray in. And just for now, because he did get the 2 nominations, he wasn't at the Globes because the movie didn't do well, but Chadwick Boseman for The Five Bloods. Again, I'm really tempted to not predict this, though, because, again, historically speaking, getting 2 nominations in the same year hurts you more than it helps you. Obviously, again, that could change because, Jamie Foxx did get the win for Ray when he was still nominated for Collateral. And if I remember right, he did win just about everything he could that year through stuff. He won SAG, he won the Globe for Comedy Musical, as I recall. I can't remember if he won at BAFTA or not. I think that was right when they were doing like the change at BAFTA for who was competing when and stuff. But I'd have to look that one up. But it's he kind of got on a train. Everybody knew he was relatively safe bet that he was going to win. So if that does happen again this year with Chadwick, which I think is likely right now, it might not end up hurting him in the slightest. But since he is posthumous, since he can't campaign right now, obviously his performances are campaign enough, in my opinion, especially more so the Ma Rainey one than the one for The Five Bloods. But I don't know. It's like Critics' Choice, again, has all those slots, and Paul Raci was one of those slots as well at Critics' Choice, so that one's close. Bill Murray, like we've mentioned, he was on the list for Critics' Choice, right? I'm not dreaming that one. Again, there's so many slots there. I might have to pull that up just to make sure. He was on the list there, and he got into the Globes, but he missed SAG, and he's not going to be on the list for BAFTA. So, yeah, he's going to have to come back and just score the Oscar nomination, which he can stick it. He can land it. And his last nomination was for a Sofia Coppola film. Again, obviously that one was a more, front-of-mind picture because it was going to be up for director. It was going to be up for Best Picture. More or less was surprising and didn't get in for Best Actress for Scarlett Johansson and stuff. So, screenplay and stuff like that, too. Whereas on The Rocks, it seems like Bill Murray is like the last chance for that film right now. So, and it's another one, it's kind of one of those classic cases like we've seen recently, like Beautiful Boy, where it was like, even though it got in everywhere, Timothée did, the rest, the film wasn't landing anywhere else, so maybe Oscar voters skipped it. So the Bill Murray one, yeah, it's definitely possible. Anyways, so that could happen there. And there's a couple other examples, but yeah, that's one that I know is front of mind for me always. But yeah, so that one, that one is really dangling there. But it's like, again, the Paul Raci thing, just, missing SAG and Globe, I think really hurt. And then, Mark Rylance hasn't scored anywhere yet. He's on the long list for BAFTA, but I'm not sure. Again, it feels like they're just going to go just one person, One Night in Miami, one person, Trial of Chicago 7, and be done. So that leaves, Jared Leto. Little things, it got on the lists today for score and for makeup, and the makeup one was more surprising than anything else. So it's like, damn, I don't know, maybe he is in. Again, not in a Critics' Choice and not going to be on the list for BAFTA, but SAG and Globe, man, I don't know. So it's kind of a mess. It's a definite mess to get those final two. So it's like, it might be one of the possibility I haven't considered here. What if it's somebody who's gotten nothing so far? What if it is Stanley Tucci for Supernova? I don't know, because I thought about it, because I'm like, well, what about what's her name for Roma, the supporting actress that got in for that year, Marina de Tavira or whatever. She landed nowhere, absolutely nowhere through any of the lists, and then all of a sudden she was there for supporting actress. So I'm trying to think, I'm like, is there any other like Best Picture nominee out there where it's like, this person hasn't gotten anywhere? It's like, David Strathairn is one that makes sense. Possibly Charles Dance if Mank really, really, really overperforms, but I don't know, that one doesn't feel right to me. It's like, Maria de Tavira at least had some, really good dramatic scenes and stuff. Mank, it's like, Charles Dance is just kind of there. He doesn't really have that much to work with. I don't know. And then, Coleman Domingo and Glenn Turman kind of cancel each other out for Ma Rainey's, but they're both great. Definitely Coleman Domingo I preferred in that one, but it's like, again, they might cancel each other out, and it's like, again, I'm not really feeling safe predicting one of the other guys from Trial of Chicago 7. So I don't know. This is a clusterfuck of a category after you get past Daniel Kaluuya. Oh boy, I don't know. But that's going to be a messy one for sure. Speaking of messes, let's talk supporting actress. This is another one where there's a lot up in the air right now. Because it's like, really, again, the three that have gotten in everywhere they could, Glenn Close, Olivia Colman, and Maria Bakalova. I now have Maria Bakalova in for the first time this year. Amanda Seyfried missed at SAG. Helena Zengel got Globe and she got SAG, but she missed at for the supporting actress category at Critics' Choice. She was in the younger actress category, so that might be kind of a makeup there. She is still represented there. She is on the long list at BAFTA. So that one's definitely questionable there. Yoo Jun-yun came back after the Globes miss and was there at SAG and at Critics' Choice. So she's definitely in the mix. Ellen Burstyn finally got in for supporting actress for Pieces of Woman at Critics' Choice. So that one does not feel safe. What about Jodie Foster? She's got the Globe but nothing else. It's like, oh my god, it's a little bit more crowded here, I think. Because that's three there for sure that are definitely going to be in the mix there, on top of the five that I have here. So, just for now, and by the way, I've had a change of heart here again. So, Ellen Burstyn I had out to win here after I saw the film and stuff. And actually, like, not long after I put her ahead, all of a sudden I read, like, 2 articles or saw the headlines of them that said, maybe Ellen Burstyn can get her second Oscar. I'm like, you sons of bitches, you cheated off me. But no, I don't think it was Clayton Davis off Variety or anything. But it was a couple think pieces I saw that were, they were thinking she might win. Because Olivia Colman, she just won a couple of years ago, upset Glenn Close. Glenn Close, Hillbilly Elegy, might not have, they'd really have to circle around her to get her the win. So, at that point I was thinking, no, the Maria Bakalova one, it's like the comedy race. I mean, unless you're Kevin Kline, I can't really think of too many other, largely comedic performances other than like, what's his name? Life is Beautiful. Roberto Benigni, even that one had a, good dramatic backdrop to it. You could argue Maria Bakalova, she's got the dramatic backdrop of the real world, Rudy Giuliani and everything that happens in that one to, work off of. But it's like, it's not, it's a very different thing there. And Amanda Seyfried, missing SAG, it's like, unless you're Regina King recently, you really need to get that SAG nomination if you're going to win at the Oscars. I mean, it's really, really, really difficult at that point. And even then, I don't know. It's like some people, it's kind of not 50-50, but generally more like a 60-40 split, where 60%, including myself, I'm in the 60% where we're like, I wasn't really bowled over by the performance. I mean, it's more of a, a character than she's played in the past, more... not recognizable, but more playful character, more or less, a more memorable character than she's had in the past. Way more memorable than like her character in Les Mis or Mamma Mia or all the rest of the kind of some of the throwaway parts she gets like in the Seth MacFarlane movies and stuff. It's like here she actually has a character, nerds. She says that, which reminded me a little bit. Didn't really think about this till right now. Remember Mark Rylance a couple, a few years ago when he won for Bridge of Spies, he talked about in his acceptance speech. He's like, well, sometimes people come up to me and they'll say, "Would it help?" Because that was a repeated line he had in the movie. Sometimes those repeated lines, if it's a really memorable thing like that, something that by the end the audience is laughing because it's it's one that gets repeated so often. She's got that in On Nerds from Hanks, so maybe we're overthinking that. But yeah, the other 40% were wowed by the performance. This is the best of the category and stuff. It's like I whatever they saw, I didn't see it. So yeah, and then it's like Helena Zengel I had at one point winning just in that odd the Anna Paquin or Tatum O'Neal child performance that wins, but. I don't know. It she would have to literally get in everywhere, and she did miss Critics' Choice. It's the one you can miss because she did get the Child Actor nomination, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know if she can go all the way to the win here for this, but especially if News of the World ends up not getting the picture nomination. Though that didn't hurt Allison Janney for I, Tonya. I had that one in for Best Picture at the last minute, and that didn't pan out. So yeah, I don't know. It's tough. So, with all that being said, I went back, so I took Ellen Burstyn out. So now, for my winner, I'm going back to Glenn Close on a weird theory. Again, I had a weird theory about the Helena Zengel thing and stuff. But what if we see a category here where it's like, okay, we see Amanda Seyfried win the Golden Globe, for example, because Mank has so many nominations there, they might want to give it something. It could go 0 for 6 like Post did. But it's like, they just gave Glenn Close a Globe a couple years ago. Olivia Colman has won 2 Globes in the last 3 years, and then won another one a couple years before that, so they've given her 3. And I think she's nominated again this year also in TV for The Crown. I think they'll go with one of the co-stars there for the win, so I don't think she wins back-to-back years for The Crown. But I'm like, do they really want to give her another one for The Father? I mean, she's in that, sometimes it's discussed as the honeymoon period, where sometimes, like Christoph Waltz wins 2 Oscars in 3 years. Obviously, the more recent example, Mahershala Ali wins 2 Oscars within 3 years. So it's possible. But even then, obviously he was a more slam dunk in that category than what I've seen so far of this one for that one. Though Olivia is the one, kind of like Mark Rylance that year. She's getting in everywhere. So I don't know. But then so is Glenn Close. And technically so is Maria Bakalova, even though she was lead actress at the Globes, and she'll win at the Globes. And I can see her winning at Critics' Choice, Maria. And SAG is a toss-up. I mean, I think really Olivia will win SAG because she didn't win for The Favorite. I can't remember if she won for The Crown last year for SAG. Boy, I'd have to look that up real quick here. But yeah, we've seen, and that, by the way, there's plenty, if they win a TV one, that doesn't always mean that they, remember that when they go to film and stuff. Yeah, she did, well, she won Ensemble. So yeah, she really, that's her only win at SAG so far. She'll have, she is nominated 3 times at SAG this year for individual performance, for drama series, the Ensemble, and then supporting actress for The Father. So, she hasn't won anything at SAG yet, so I think... Yeah, it's really up to the SAG voters if they want to give her the win for the TV, or if they want to give it to her for The Father. And right now I'm thinking The Father for SAG. So then that leaves BAFTA and the Oscars, where we might see Glenn Close win at BAFTA, because, she didn't win. She doesn't have too many nominations at BAFTA. She doesn't quite have the track record that Denzel has. 0 nominations at BAFTA. But it's like, she doesn't have the traction of, like, somebody of her caliber. Like, she has 8, is it 7 or 8? This will be her 8th nomination at the Oscars if she gets in. I think she will. But, kind of a mystery there, because it's like, she didn't get that many nominations at BAFTA. Like, this last one for The Wife was only, like, her 2nd or something weird like that. Maybe her 3rd at BAFTA. So she's not one who has the long history at BAFTA than some of the others do, or we might expect. So I can see her, because The Wife, was on that train. I thought she would still win for that at BAFTA just because she was on that, win train, because she technically had not lost anywhere. She tied at Critics' Choice that year. But she won the Globe and won SAG, so I was like, it felt like a done deal. But yeah, and I knew Olivia was definitely a possibility there. But it's like, yeah, and then at Oscar time, I was like, no, I was kind of surprised by that for Olivia's win there. It's the one I would have voted for, sure, but so I can't be too upset at it, right? But it's like, I don't know. So maybe Glenn Close in a complicated year, if she wins BAFTA, because Olivia just won BAFTA a couple years ago. And stuff like that. And I don't necessarily see them going for Maria Bakalova. I don't necessarily see them going for Amanda Seyfried or for Helena Zengel or anybody else who gets in there. Possibly, or Yu Jun-yun for that matter. I can see Glenn Close rallying and doing an inverse of what happened 2 years ago for The Wife, where it's like she won everything early and then missed out at the end. Now I can see her, well, not the exact inverse, but, losing everything early to to a different person every time, and then winning BAFTA and the Oscar. I can definitely see it happening, and especially what would really seal the deal for her is if Amy Adams does get in for lead actress, because then it shows way more support than we're thinking, but I don't know. Yeah, we'll have to see, because, the other thing, too, though, is Zendaya and Malcolm and Marie. That one is kicking in now, and it's like, I think a lot of the Oscar voters in the acting branch, it's like a lot of them have kind of sitting up and taken notice. I think Zendaya is definitely more of a possibility there than like Amy Adams or somebody. But yeah, so for who's going to win, yeah, I'm going back to Glenn Close. I had her very early on, but then I took her out. Not to get I always had her at least getting nominated, but after the bad press of the film and stuff, I pegged her way down. But oh boy, yeah, this one and supporting actor are going to be headaches for sure. Okay, we'll keep it going here. I've been on here a while, so let's, before my voice goes out. For the original screenplay category, I still have Trials of Chicago 7 out front here. Then Mank, Da 5 Bloods, Minari, and Promising Young Woman I now have in there. So I took, Soul has been one I've taken in and out. Sound of Metal is still in there for sure in the conversation. And I think Judas and the Black Messiah is a possible one here. Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always did get the nomination there at Critics' Choice. Otherwise, yeah, Da 5 Bloods missed there, which was a weird one. And obviously it missed at the Globes there. So we'll see where WGA goes. When did they announce? Writers Guild nominations come out for 2021. Here we go. Wait, that's TV ones. Okay. Film ones are a week away, the 16th. Okay, so we've got some time here. Really quick, I'm going to look up, because I don't know when PGA and DGA gets announced either. Are they around the same time? Oh, wait, hold on. Something's gone wrong. Yeah, clearly. Moves up several deadlines. Okay, well that doesn't... Maybe they haven't officially announced. Close of polls is March 7th. Oh no, March 8th. Okay, they do have a date here. So yeah, PGA, we're not going to know for almost exactly a full month before we know who was nominated at PGA. And how about DGA, really quick? Directors Guild. March 9th, yeah. Wow. So yeah, we've got quite a ways to go here before we know who's in at PGA and DGA. But WGA will be, a week from today. So that might help us. I'll have to keep an eye. I haven't seen too many articles or any heads up yet for, okay, who do we know is not in the Writers Guild, so therefore is not eligible to get in this year? We'll have to I'll have to wait and see and watch for that article. Gold Derby usually covers it. If not, I'm sure Variety, Clayton will get on it, or IndieWire and Ann Thompson. Somebody will get on it. They'll let everybody know. That way we don't see everybody up in arms. Because Spike Lee is there because he was nominated for BlacKkKlansman, so I know he's eligible. So yeah, I can see Da 5 Bloods getting in for screenplay there. At WGA, but yeah, they should really help us here. Hopefully, show more who's a strong sign and stuff. But yeah. Then for adapted screenplay, about who's going to win here, I think if One Night in Miami starts to really slip, and I take it out for picture, I have it winning screenplay right now because I go with the theory of screenplay winning picture. That's really held true for several years here. Just Shape of Water being the one exception recently. Otherwise, of course, you go back to the artist and stuff. But yeah, we've been down that road in recent years here. I think I'm going with the 5 popular picks. Otherwise, it's like One Night in Miami. I have The Father in second place. The Father is one I can see winning screenplay. Because Nomadland is kind of the front runner right now. But I'm like, I don't know. It doesn't really seem like a huge, from what I've seen of it and stuff, it doesn't really seem like a huge screenplay achievement by any means. It's more, directorially, I think that's what's going to stand out, or is standing out for everybody. So I can see The Father kind of being like Jojo Rabbit, where it's like it gets some, obviously Jojo missed out for screenplay at the Globes. The Father got in, that helps. But I can see it, being one that, starts out, it gets just about everything it can, and then at the end, everybody kind of realizes, oh yeah, we like this one a lot. Little Women was also up last year. That was one we were kind of talking about for sure. But yeah. So I think, One Night in Miami and The Father, I think, are the two I'm kind of close on right now. And then Nomadland in third, Ma Rainey's in fourth, and News of the World in fifth. Generally speaking, again, that feels like the safe 5, especially with United States versus Billie Holiday really underperforming lately. That one feels like it's, possible still, but further down the list. Martanian, possible, but it's further down the list. Hillbilly Elegy, less likely, but I think still just on the happenstance. The Borat sequel, I can see that might be the 6th or the 7th place pick here. First Cow was the 6th nominee at Critics' Choice. But generally speaking, that one doesn't really seem to be on the Oscars radar as much, I don't think. He would have to be a really surprising nomination there. Remember, the first Borat did get in for adapted screenplay, so we can't totally toss that one out. So, yeah, that one feels like we're down to like maybe 6, 7, 8 possible nominees there. Okay, for animated feature, and these are on the Gold Derby site, clear over here. Let's see here. The 5 I have in, I've taken out the Earwig movie because the reviews on that one are not too strong. Usually those Studio Ghibli films are always like 99, 100%, but this one's like 30 or something, so it's like, oof, not a big hit for them. Soul I still have up front, then Wolfwalkers, Onward, Over the Moon. I've thrown in the Willoughbys to be the 5th pick right now. Let's see. Otherwise, we've got Earwig could still get in. I would say the Croods got in at the Globes. That's possible. Otherwise, a lot of people are picking Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon, which was eligible at like BAFTA last year and stuff, and everything there. And it didn't. There's no animated feature category at Critics' Choice, but it didn't get in at the Globes either. And again, I can't remember what. I don't think that was one that. I don't think that was one that got a Globe nomination last year. That not that I can recall, at least. But we'll have to see there. Okay, for the other categories in the tech that we haven't mentioned yet, let's go to those real quick here, just to cover them. Cinematography, we have, I still have Nomadland out front. A lot of people are picking Mank, but it's like, I don't know. Again, I don't have a good feeling about Mank picking that to win a category yet. So I have that in second place. Then I still have the 5 Bloods in there for cinematography. It did get a nomination at Critics' Choice, but it feels like it's on shaky ground. Tenet I have in there. Tenet feels a lot more safe. And then Minari I have as the 5th pick. But News of the World is one that did fairly well in the tech categories at the Critics' Choice. It seems like it's on the list for the BAFTAs, a lot of those long lists for those tech categories as well. So that one is definitely close here. Ma Rainey's I feel like is generally speaking, that one's close. Malcolm and Maria is another one like Pieces of a Woman. It has a lot of those long takes as well. Some of them are quick cuts and stuff too. But especially like one of the first introductory scenes like follows, it's outside the window, but it just follows them forever for like 5-6 minutes. One of those, I always appreciate that. But yeah, that one. That one. I had it in at one point, but again, I don't know. After the reviews, which are like 59% now, they're below the fresh rating on Rotten Tomato. Rotten Tomatoes. So again, unless there's something that happens late in the movie that or I can see, oh, that's why. Kind of like for me, Downsizing. That one just happened to be on TV the other day, but it was like, I remember when I saw that one, I was up to like the third act. I'm like, this is actually like a legit good movie. I'm like, why is it so hated by critics? Then you get to the third act, and it's like, oh, I can see why they didn't get on board with this, because yeah, that ending is not 100%, but very different from the rest of the movie, and it feels like it's really changing. Like every 3 minutes something is happening that kind of goes off in a different direction. Oh, I can understand. I ended up enjoying that movie just fine, but yeah, it's like unless something like that happens, but yeah, otherwise, yeah, that's one I would Pieces of a Woman is one I would definitely throw in for cinematography this year for myself from what I've seen, but yeah, Minari and Nomadland are the two I haven't seen here of the ones I've predicted. But otherwise, Judas and the Black Messiah, we talked about this one last time with Sean Bobbitt being the cinematographer there, but he's missed for two, definitely one that was a much, much higher profile film, 12 Years a Slave, he didn't get in, which is a really conspicuous miss there. And then Widows, he didn't get in for that one either. Even though that one got skunked at the Oscars, that was one where I was like, well, just if you watch the movie, just the cinematography is so damn good in that movie anyways. Again, a lot of the tracking shots and stuff. I would have thought, any other year if that was, that was one we would consider there. But again, yeah, Trial of Chicago 7, One Night in Miami, Midnight Sky are a couple other ones that get thrown around there. But this one, yeah, it feels like there's definitely, again, going to be a couple that get left out. Okay, let's move to film editing next year. I have, just as a placeholder, still Nomadland, but I think Trial of Chicago 7, I have it in third place right now. I'm going to bump that up to second place. Because, again, the editing is such an important piece of that movie, especially when we get to, like, the trial scenes and stuff, when they're, the lines of dialogue, we cut back and forth and stuff, and it's really done well. Mank I have in third place. The Father I have in fourth, which I think I briefly discussed that one. Without having seen it, there's, I've heard that the editing is significant in that one, so I'm like, okay, just going off that, I'll take it in. Defy Bloods is my fifth pick right now, but I don't really, I'm not really feeling 100% confident in, okay, who's the one I would take it out for. Like, One Night in Miami I bumped, and Minari I bumped. I had those two in, so I put to get room for The Father. And then, what was the other one? I've had Trial of Chicago 7 in for a while. I've had Mank in for a while, Nomadland. Maybe I moved out Five Bloods at one point, but I thought I had that one in for a while too, so it's weird. Okay, I can't remember. But yeah, Minari and One Night in Miami are still ones I would say are on the radar here. Ma Rainey's is on the radar. But those are more distant picks, though. I would say Promising Young Woman is one. I would probably say that one and Sound of Metal are the two closest ones. Those are the two that I think that could fight out for the Five Bloods. News of the World, again, close. Could get in. Tenet popped up for editing here at Critics' Choice, and it's, I believe, on the list at BAFTA as well for editing, so it could make a comeback. Judas and the Black Messiah, a few people think, again, kind of like the cinematography stuff, but without having seen it, I'm not sure. So, yeah, so, again, some stuff left in that one there. For the design category, starting with costumes, still Ma Rainey's out front here, then Mank, Emma, Mulan, and United States versus Billie Holiday. Again, watch out for, again, a lot of the ones we've discussed already, like Ammonite, News of the World, Personal History of David Copperfield, possibly Birds of Prey, possibly The Prom. Promising Young Woman, again, it's on the BAFTA list, but I'm not very confident in that one. So that one we got through pretty quick there. We have production design next. Again, Ma Rainey's out front here, then Mank, News of the World. I do have getting in for this one, then Mulan and Emma. And Emma did get on the list, though, for production design here at Critics' Choice, but Mulan did not. So, that one, I can see, yeah, I have it lower. I mean, it got a lot of stuff on the short list today, so it's staying popular, at least within those branches of the Academy, so they might go for it. Tenet is one that also got a Critics' Choice nomination, but again, I don't know. I mean, I missed Parasite. I was like convinced Parasite was not going to get in last year because it was so contemporary. And other than the house and stuff, it's like there's really no huge achievement in production design there. But it's like Tenet, even though it's not as sci-fi as something like Inception, where it's like that one. I can't remember if it actually did that one get in for production design that year. I thought it missed. I recently just watched it, by the way. Because, Tenet, I remember I was disappointed in. So, not way too long after that, I rewatched Inception here, I was like, that's a breath of fresh fucking air after Tenet for me. Yeah, it was in for production design that year. That's right. Okay, I couldn't remember if it made the list or not. But yeah, that one it feels a little more alien, a little more sci-fi than Tenet does. Midnight Sky is one I can definitely see coming back and actually getting the nomination here. Otherwise, yep, History of David Copperfield is possible. Maybe United States versus Billie Holiday, but yeah. So that's that one. Okay, have we gotten... Yeah, again, this is kind of mixed up a little bit. What's the last one here? Yeah, Sound, I think, is the last one we haven't mentioned yet. And yeah, Sound of Metal, since you got Sound in the title, yeah, I feel like that one's a generally safe pick for the early lead here, at least. Mank in second place, then Tenet, then Midnight Sky. I do have Ma Rainey's in there still as well. But yeah, there's quite a few they can go with here. Defy Bloods I can see making the list. Soul I can see making it on there. News of the World, again, it has to, if it goes through as many tech categories as some think it will, Sound will go along for the ride. Greyhound, a lot of people thought up to this point, but it's like, maybe if it was just sound editing, I would say, yeah, that one would be a more definite hit. But since it's just sound, I don't know. And especially missing the visual effects one today, yeah, that really does not help it. United States versus Billie Holiday's one. Again, missing a lot of short lists. It might not help it. Yeah, anything else? I don't know, maybe Trial of the Chicago 7, since there's, a few argument scenes and fight scenes, more or less, combative scenes back and forth there. Maybe that's one we're underestimating here. I can see that one. I mean, it's there's no sound category at the Critics' Choice, but that probably would have been like a 6th slot, maybe, or possibly, if they didn't, any one of the other ones we mentioned here. Mulan is also possible here. Cherry is possible here. Some of the other kind of war ones like that, but yeah, this one, since it's only one category, I think we'll see. We'll see where they kind of go here. If they go, okay, is sound going to be more like what we expected with sound editing, or more what we expected with sound mixing? Because sometimes the sound mixing category in the old days, or now I say old days because they don't have the category anymore. But not always, but sometimes those would go with the more best picture possibilities, and sound editing. Not always, because some of them would carry over category to category, but some of the sound editing ones would be just in that category, like Ad Astra last year, I believe, or unless that was sound mixing, whichever one it was. It only got one of them. And the more action beats, some of those more films, those would get more of the sound editing versus sound mixing was more your musicals, again, old days, and stuff like that. So I don't know, or The Loudest Movie would win. So it's like, I don't know, we'll see with just one sound category if they're leaning more toward, more Best Picture fare, which, my category, what I have now, it's kind of a mix, because like Tenet and Sound of Metal I don't have in, or Midnight Sky for Best Picture, but Mank and Ma Rainey's I do. And then News of the World is one that could possibly get in. That one could be a Best Picture player. Defy Bloods, Trial of Chicago 7 would be. Soul, I don't have in for Picture, but who knows, that might be a 10th slot or a 9th slot. Yeah, we'll have to see there. So it could go either way. It could go more toward the realm of sound editing or a little bit of sound mixing. So I kind of have a balance right now. But it could. We'll see where they go with just one category for the first time in many, many years here. Okay, I think that's everything. So there you go. First time all season we've talked about all 24 categories for one degree or another. All right. Yeah, this is a super long video. So thanks everybody for sticking around here. Yeah, this is definitely a first time this year where we've gotten all the categories, so I knew it was going to probably be a longer one. But yeah, my voice is about shot, so I'm going to call it good here. Yeah, we'll see, because, yeah, WGA is a week away, so we might come back day of for that one, possibly. I'll have to see what's going on, but, yeah, I don't know how far out yet, but, I don't know. Otherwise, it's like, yeah, as we just looked up, PGA, DGA is a long time away. I don't think I necessarily need to do a video every time a new guild announces, because I was like, yeah, then we'd be here every day for how many weeks, because for stuff like that. But, yeah, BAFTA nominations are a little ways out. Obviously, Oscar nominations are a little over, not quite a month and a half away, more like just over a month away is probably where I would put it. March 18th, I think, is the date I've been seeing, if that's correct. Which is like just before, or just after, I should say, DGA and PGA. So those would be kind of our last tea leaves there. Yeah, I think, WGA is early this year. So this might be it for a while here. we'll see. I might come on with WGA and then maybe talk about like the Globes, because the Globe Awards are the 28th. So that's coming up here. It's going to be 2 weeks from this Sunday. So, and yeah, they're early. Then we have Critics' Choices in March, and then we get BAFTA and SAG and Oscars are not till April. So then we'll have, other than the Critics' Choice, nothing much in March, except for when they do hand out PGA, DGA. Which we'll see if we have a really competitive year here, where we see like, I can see a scenario right now, just to kind of preview that. DGA would probably go more toward Chloe Zhao at this point if everything holds, unless somebody else takes over. PGA, I can see more going towards something like Trial of Chicago 7. Probably that one. Yeah, that's probably what I would have out front right now. If not, something like One Night in Miami or something. But yeah, I don't see Mank like being a PGA winner. Nomadland, possibly. It's in the discussion for sure, but I can see a split happening there. Yeah, then WGA, yeah, it depends on who's eligible, who's not, because, yeah, maybe some of our frontrunners will not be. But I believe Aaron Sorkin has been nominated almost every time for WGA. So, yeah, as far as I know, he's, a key member of that. So we shouldn't see him snubbed there by any means. So, okay, otherwise, yep, we'll come back here. I won't say for certain after WGA announces, but at some point here, before we'll get into some previews for who's going to win the Golden Globes as we get closer to those. So, yeah, that's all I got for now. So, thanks everybody for sticking around for the over hour and a half video here. But good, always a good discussion here, and again, a lot of possibilities. Some of these categories are really frustrating, but in a good way. Frustrating in a way where it's like we think this is getting in, but it might not. Look at all the possible nominees here that we have to go through. It's kind of fun. It's a fun time when we start to see stuff come up that we weren't expecting, like Jared Leto and stuff like that. So there's always those last minute surprises. But yep. Okay, I've said enough. Let's quit it.